Since our horizontal stabilizers closely represent the single panel wing that we created in a previous lesson, we can use that wing custom block as a starting point. We'll open that block and begin by adjusting our title, notebook description, and input descriptions to better represent horizontal stabilizers. We'll rename the block, add a description, and adjust our inputs. Since it's uncommon to include a twist in our horizontal stabilizers, we can delete the twist magnitude input that existed in our single panel wings. Scrolling to the bottom of our notebook, we see that that twist came into play in our twisted variable. This twisted one side of our planar wings and fed into the final step, which was adding the dihedral angle. So instead of feeding our planar wings into our twist, we'll feed our planar wings into our rotated wings object. Viewing the result, we see that we now have our rotated wings with a dihedral angle, but no twist. We can delete the twist section from our notebook, and now we essentially have a custom block that creates our horizontal stabilizers. If we want to scroll up to our inputs and create default values that generate smaller geometry, more representative of our horizontal stabilizers, we can adjust some of these values so they show up as our default when we use this custom block. We can drag our root point back a bit and decrease our root chord length and our span. Zooming into our geometry that we've generated, we see that our result doesn't necessarily represent horizontal stabilizers as we'd expect. Walking through our notebook, we can try and diagnose the problem. We see that our airfoil profile looks something like this, and we can find that that's the result of our top spline that looks like this. Opening up our top spline, we see that we created those control points when we made our single panel wing. We used the spline by control points and included these 4 points to guide our spline. We can adjust these control points to generate a more representative airfoil, or, like we saw in previous lessons, we can start to integrate custom blocks like the 4-digit NACA airfoil profile generator. Scrolling back to the bottom of our workflow, we can look at our final result. And now we have stabilizers that look something like this. Finally, we can save our custom block to our My Blocks folder, naming it Horizontal Stabilizer.